Hi, I'm Suzi LeVine. I'm the U.S. Ambassador to Switzerland and Liechtenstein. And it's my pleasure to be able to talk to you today about the U.S. presidential elections, and specifically looking at this coming Tuesday, March 1st, to talk about Super Tuesday and why is it so super. In short, it's because it is the day during the primary calendar when you have the most delegates distributed than any other day throughout the season. But to give you more detail on Super Tuesday probably would help to explain what is a primary and what are delegates. So let's take a step back. The primary season for the presidential election started on February 1st with the Iowa caucuses, and it will finish June 14th in Washington, D.C. with the primary that will happen there. And over the course of that time, you will have in each individual states and a number of regions caucuses or primaries happening, contests in which people will earn delegates towards their nomination. Now let me explain though, what does that mean? What does earning delegates towards a nomination mean? And specifically what you have is that each of the parties has allocated a number of delegates across the different states. It's not monolithic, it's each individual state has its own number of delegates. And then the first candidate in each of the parties to get to the threshold, so for example, for the Republicans, it's the first to get to that threshold that's just above 1,200, and for the Democrats, above 2,300, will win the nomination for that party and become that party's standard bearer. So why does Super Tuesday matter in particular, and what is important about that day? Well, on that day, there will be about 14 contests that happen, and as a result of that, you will have half of all of the necessary delegates that an individual would need to win the nomination available for the Republicans, or a third of those for the Democrats. That's an incredible number. To put it in perspective, compare it to Iowa, which was the first contest of the overall primary season. Now, it's a very important contest because it really gets the ball rolling. But 20 times the number of delegates will be available on Super Tuesday than were available and distributed in Iowa for both the Republican and the Democratic events. And to give you a sense of how it looks in terms of the map, as I said before, it's not monolithic. And so you have states ranging from Vermont to Texas that will be up for grabs for both the Republicans and the Democrats on Super Tuesday. So the candidates also need to think strategically about how are they using their resources across this diverse set of regions. Overall, I would recommend looking out for, on that day, not just who has won the day or who has won a given state, but what was the delegate count in particular. If you go back and look at 2008, John McCain on Super Tuesday won over 500 delegates. His nearest competitor, who at the time was Mitt Romney, won about 160 or so delegates. That gave John McCain an insurmountable lead with which he then won the Republican nomination in order to run for president. So it's on that day that you might be able to see some candidates truly break out from the pack, or it might also tighten the race. So that's what I recommend looking out for on Super Tuesday. Over the course of the campaign season, I'm sure you'll have more questions, and I'm sure we'll want to have more conversations. So feel free to reach out to us through social media, through Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.